Up in here, man. We up in here. Today, I'm gonna talk about Eddie Hearn possible deal with Shawn Porter. Now, Shawn Porter won the WBC title. We all know that. Eddie Hearn said on the interview that he had a fighter that was on Showtime that's talking to him behind the scenes. He won't name the fighter, but he says the fighter does not have a promoter and he wants the fighter to give him an offer. Now, and then in the same breath, he says he found out Shawn Porter just won a title and he doesn't have a TV deal. And he said, well, I told him, what, you the WBC champion and you don't have a TV deal? That's not good. So I'm thinking Shawn Porter, I'm trying to put two and two together. I hate speculating, but I'm going to put two and two together. I think it's Shawn Porter that's talking to Eddie Hearn behind the scenes and maybe come up with a possible deal. Because I heard in the past that none of these fighters with Al Heyman have TV deals or they don't have a direct promoter. So it's like an individual thing with them. So any promoter can come and offer them a deal, or any TV. Since they don't have a TV deal with Showtime primarily, I guess any TV, like ESPN, HBO, can come to them and offer them a deal also. Because Eddie Hearn said if he couldn't offer Al Heyman fighters deals, and he knows that they don't have a promotional deal or a TV deal, that he will get sued. So, hey, he already got what? Jesse Vargas. I believe Jesse Vargas is without Al Heyman, right? He has Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs said he's still with Al Heyman. So Eddie Hearn, he is trying to get these Al Heyman fighters now that he was doing an interview on Fight Hype. That's where he was doing an interview at. You can go see it on Fight Hype. And he said the guy asked him, so how do you get a fighter like Shawn Porter? He said, I offer him a immense amount of money. And he said Bob Arum is trying to get Shawn Porter also. So that's interesting. If Bob Arum gets Shawn Porter, that means Bob Arum had the WBC and the WBO champion on his side of the on his side. You know what I'm saying? So I believe Danny Garcia was going to get that deal from Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn said he gonna give him a deal, and he said that he gonna give him one that he can't refuse. So let's see how much money. I believe this. I don't care where these fighters go and sign to, because to me it should not stop guys from getting in the ring and fighting. To me it doesn't matter. If Eddie Hearn end up signing Shawn Porter, that should not stop the Earl Spence fight. That should not stop the Keith Thurman or possible Keith Thurman rematch. That shouldn't stop Shawn Porter from fighting Terrence Crawford. It shouldn't stop anything. You know what I'm saying? These guys can, to me, they can sign whoever they want to sign with. I guess people act like everybody's supposed to sign with PBC. Like, everybody don't have to sign with PBC for these fights to happen. These promoters can work together. You know what I'm saying? So, and these guys can get in the room and work together. They have done it before. So people got to stop acting like these guys have not worked together before. Everybody is not with PBC. So PBC, obviously, when they don't fight in house, and when they go out house, they are working with some other promoter. Like Bob Arum and Al Heyman has already worked together. They worked on the biggest boxing match, with Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather in boxing history. So, and Terrence Crawford fought Felix Diaz. He fought John Molina. So they have worked together. So let's not get it twisted to say that all Terrence Crawford, he signed with re-up with Bob Arum. Now he can't fight Earl Spence. No, they can fight. But trust me, they can fight. So that should not be an obstacle. What we should be talking about is how soon they can fight. How soon is the fight realistic that they can get in the ring? That's what we should be discussing. And Shawn Porter, if he can get a crazy deal from Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn willing to pay him a lot of money, take the deal, man. Because you can't box forever. And who knows, your next fight may be your last fight. Because boxing is not like any other sport, man. You can get really damaged in this. You can get injured and have a career in the injury in any sport. I'm not saying that. But boxing has a high probability that you can lose everything in one fight. You can take so much damage that you're just done, just over with, and you can't recover, you can't come back. So if Shawn Porter want to go out there and get the best deal possible, if he want to leverage his WBC title and try to get the best deal possible, get it. If he have Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn bidding over him, he can get a lot of bread, man. He can get a lot of money. He shouldn't worry about people he shouldn't worry about the fans as far as him getting his money. Now, what he should worry about with us is where we come into play is who he's going to fight and how soon he's going to fight him. That's what we should get on him about. We shouldn't be getting on him about him signing with Eddie Hearn because people don't like Eddie Hearn. I have no problems with Eddie Hearn. How do y'all think Don King got to the top? Y'all thought Don King got to the top doing everything by the book, not irritating people, not stepping on people's toes, not stepping on top of people. Y'all think Don King had a monopoly on the heavyweight division because he was a nice guy? No. Don King had not only did he have a monopoly on the heavyweight division per se, he cheated a lot of fighters out of their money. It was a Tim Witherspoon to tell you. Listen to the interview with him, how he said that how Don King got him for a lot of money, and countless of Mike Tyson, Don King's best commodity, he cheated him out of money. So don't think that these promoters or whatever uh, are just in it to just be nice guys. No, everybody try to take everybody fighters, but Eddie Hearn said that these fighters are not signed to Showtime. They don't have a TV deal, and they don't have a promotional deal. So he can go and bid for the fighters. He can. So like I said, man, Terrence Crawford, yeah, he re-up with Bob Arum. If he feel comfortable with that deal, let that man take the deal. That that does not stop the fact that he should be getting in the ring with Earl Spence. You know what I'm saying? That should not stop the fight. Sean Spike TV Porter, Sean Spike TV Porter, Wood Bolt More TV. What's up, man? Thanks for joining. But this is my new thing I'm gonna be doing on Boxing Nightly, where I go, talk about boxing for about an hour. From, I get on live anywhere between 6 and 7. You know what I'm saying? I started doing it yesterday. I already got one episode in the playlist. This is episode 2. Like I said, I'm gonna start having people, get on here and come on here and get on the live with me. Y'all in the comment sections, if y'all want to get on, we can all talk about what's up, man. We can all talk about boxing, man, and we can get it in. You know what I'm saying? As long as everybody respectable to everybody in the comments, as long as everybody respectable in the live, man. We all talk like men. We all treat each other with respect. We can all just chop it up. I'm always good for good. I'm always down for good, content. I don't know everything about boxing. You know what I'm saying? I started watching boxing in what I mean, the first fight I ever seen was, the Sugar Ray Leonard, and I'm 41 years old. So I mean, I was like 7 or 8 years old. My uncles was looking at, the fight on TV, and they was arguing about who was gonna win the fight. So I mean, I wasn't looking at it from an educated eye. Obviously, I was too young, but that was the first fight that I can remember. Now, the first fight I looked at with an educated eye probably was, let me see, when Pernell Whitaker fought De La Hoya. I think I was like 15. Are you related? No, 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 no. I'm not related to 78. No, no, no. I mean, I know 78. We used to chop it up on the on the phone. We used to chop it up a lot. I got a lot of debates on that I did on 78 channel. But yeah, yeah, no, no, no. I'm not related to 78. 78 is a good dude, man. It is what it is. But um, yeah, like I said, I've been watching boxing for a little while. I know some things about boxing. I actually used to box myself. I went pro, had a couple pro fights, but like I said, we shouldn't worry about who these fighters are signed with. Just let them sign whoever they want to sign with. Don't get distracted by who they're signing with. Look, I know it. I know when certain promoters. I know certain promoters have a hard time with other promoters. I know that, and we all know it's politics in boxing. And the only reason why we know it's politics in boxing to this degree is because now we in the age of social media. When I was looking at boxing, we didn't hear back in the day. We didn't hear a lot about I mean, we knew it was hard making some fights, but we never heard it to the degree that on social media. Now that social media has bloomed and blossomed, now we can hear and get deep into how and why these fights are not happening. So, like I said, Shawn Porter, if he wants to go leverage his title, to get the best deal possible, you know what I'm saying? What if he can go out there and get Eddie Hearn to pay him $8 million a fight? You know what I'm saying? What if he can get Eddie Hearn to pay him $8 million a fight? He better take that. Because, like I said, a boxer's career can end in any fight, man. Boxing is a hard living. Do people understand what goes on in a training camp? What these boxers get? See, when we see them in the ring, you see a finished product. You don't see how that product, unless you've been in the gym and been around guys training for fights. I was around guys training for fights. I was around guys. The guys had to drop 60 and 70 pounds. You know what I'm saying, to fight on fight night, and it's like 4 weeks into the fight. So the man he's jogging to the gym with a full jogging suit on, 90, 95, 100 degrees outside. He coming in doing 10 rounds on the bag, doing 10, 12 rounds of sparring, then jogging back home. So I seen it. It is hard on people's bodies getting ready for these fights, man. That's why you'll hear a lot of fighters say the hardest thing to do is to train. That's the hardest thing to do. Get in the ring and fighting is easy. It's the training, it's the preparation. So if that man wants to try to get as much money as he can, get it. If Terrence Crawford good with his deal, keep it. You know what I'm saying? You can't listen to everybody on everything. You have to be a man in the end and make your own decisions and live with them, because we are a product of our decisions. At least if you go out there and have a good conscience about the decision you made, research, you know what I'm saying, have a logical um, way about going about how you want to do things, then just live with the results, man. Because we all can't make all the right decisions at all the time. People on here talk like they make all the right decisions all the time. No, everybody don't make the right decisions all the time. So let that man go out and get his, man. Let that man go out and get his money. So, like I said, Shawn Porter, that doesn't stop him being on the onus of fighting everybody. Did you hear about Oscar De La Hoya wanting to run for? Yeah, I heard for Oscar De La Hoya want to run for president. That's. I mean, that's his business. If you want to run for president, that's his. But De La Hoya better be ready for what comes with that. They're gonna be digging all in Oscar De La Hoya's past and everything. When you run for office, and you going up against other political figures that are more formidable than you, and De La Hoya is not used to being in this realm, yeah, they gonna throw everything in the kitchen sink at Oscar De La Hoya. So he gotta be ready for that. But yeah, like I said, Eddie Hearn is on the prowl, and he just trying to get some fighters, man. I don't blame him. You know what I'm saying? He's in the business of being a promoter, so he's supposed to go out there and cultivate fighters. That's what he's supposed to do. People talking about that Eddie Hearn messing up the game, and Eddie Hearn is stepping on Al Heyman toes. No, Al Heyman is not stepping on nobody's toes. Who toes is he stepping on? Because if he step on the wrong toe and a fighter is signed with another promoter, then he'll just get sued. That's how you stepping on somebody's toes, when you get sued because you're tampering with somebody else's fighter. But like he said, the PBC fighters do not have contracts. They don't have TV deals, or they don't have a promoter. None of them have promoted. They don't have an official promoter who they're signed to. So he trying to get Shawn Porter. Now he got Joshua. He got Usyk. He have Jesse Vargas. He has Danny Jacobs. Oh, he got Demetrius Andrade, Billy Joe Saunders. Eddie Hearn did say in that interview, he said he was naming all the fighters he had, and he said the soon-to-be champion at 160, Demetrius Andrade. So is he picking Demetrius Andrade to beat Billy Joe Saunders? That's kind of weird that a promoter that promote both fighters is. I think that was a slip of the tongue. If you go listen to that interview that Eddie Hearn did on Fight Hype, you will hear him say, and let me see, man, if I can find it. He said, I have Demetrius Andrade, soon to be the 160-pound champion. I'm like, wow. But then at the same time, he did say that he was talking to a fighter behind the scenes from Showtime. Said the guy said, "Make me an offer. I don't have a TV deal or a promoter. Make me an offer." Then he, in the same breath, he said, he talked to Sean Porter father, and Sean Porter father said that they don't have a TV deal, and he said, "Whoa, you don't have a TV deal? You just won a WBC championship?" He said that Bob Arum was making Sean Porter an offer too. So we'll see. But I want to talk about. I know the Boston Clinic. He did a video about weight bullying, and go. Hey, shout out to Boston Clinic, the nice channel. He always come with good content. He go live every morning. He called it the morning grind, and yeah, just go look at his channel. But he was talking about weight bullying, on how people, thoughts on weight bullying. But my thing is this: it's always been quote unquote weight bullying in boxing. I know people who don't really know about boxing, they just not finding this out. Weight bullying, it's mainly because these guys do not see. Back in the day, guys used to. I mean, like back in the day, guys used to fight the same day they weighed in. So whatever you came in at, if you when you came in at, let's say a fight was at welterweight, you came in at 146, 147. You can't go over 147, 145. That's what you fought at that night. The fight was that night because the fights, the TV deals were, and the money was in boxing, and around about the 70s and the 80s got so big in these TV networks, they could not risk guys coming in and not making weight, and the fight is that night. So how you would have to cancel the fight. So that's why they had guys, weigh in, and the fight is the next day instead of that same day. So if the guys had, you will a lot of these guys will be in their rightful weight classes if they weighed in and fought the same night. A lot of these guys, like people like I remember Bomac said that Terrence Crawford should have been a welterweight about a year and a half ago. Well, Terrence Crawford would have been at welterweight a year and a half ago. Uh, Earl Spence says out of his mouth he's a big welterweight. He would have been at 154 or 160. Same thing for Carol Brook, would have been at 154 or 160 a long time ago. Keith Thurman would have been at 154 or 160. Shawn Porter would have been at 154 or 160. All these guys shrinking themselves down to make the weight at 147. Now, I am an advocate, and Boston Clinic did. It was a good logical point that he made. If you can make the weight, you can fight. That has been my take on it. If they can make the weight, they can fight at the weight. Long as you can make the weight, you can fight at the weight. Because it comes a time to where you can't make the weight no more. So if you can make the weight, you can fight at the weight. Until boxing change their rules, which I would be an advocate of boxing having a boxing commission changing their rules and going to same day weigh in. The fight is that night. You weigh in early in the morning. You have see, you won't be able to put on a lot of weight. You know what I'm saying? If the fight is that night and you weigh in the morning, to me you will just put on a natural probably 5-6 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Like a guy that's big, let's say a guy that's big like a Earl Spence, Keith Thurman, Shawn Porter. Those are naturally bigger guys, and both all three of those guys fought at 154 before. So if they have a whole day to hydrate, they can hydrate 10, 12 pounds above 147. Then you get a guy that comes in that's a smaller, naturally smaller guy that really 147 is his division. He may only hydrate up to 5 or 6 pounds. So now they come in with a 8 pound to 9 to 10 pound, difference on that fighter that's his weight class. That should be his regular weight class. So that's how it goes. But if you can make the weight, you can fight. You know what I'm saying? You sign a contract. You know what you're getting yourself into. You got grown men. Just like I said about Tyson Fury and Wilder. I don't like the fact that Wilder and Tyson Fury are fighting right now because I don't think Tyson Fury is ready. But Tyson Fury signed a contract. If he signed a contract, he's a grown man. Hey, fight. You know what I'm saying? You can fight. Shawn Porter going to get knocked out by Spence. Okay, Shawn Porter may get knocked out by Spence. We'll see. We'll have to see. I want to get to what Clarissa Shields said. Clarissa Shields did an interview with Fight Hype, and they dude asked him about Earl Spence and Shawn Porter. She paused and she was just shaking her head. And he said, "Why are you shaking your head?" Because she was like, "No, she don't think Porter the way he fought can beat Earl Spence." She said that, and I agree with her. Shawn Porter is going to have to be able to hide his chin a little bit more than what he does. Because Shawn Porter will come in with his chin in the air. Now, he still does that. You know what I'm saying? He did a better job in the Danny Garcia fight with the distance. You know what I'm saying? Changing up the pace. But he still comes in with his chin up. And she said that she used to see Shawn Porter spar the Durrell brothers, Anthony Durrell, you know what I'm saying, the Durrell brothers, and she said that Shawn Porter was a slick fighter when he was in the amateurs. She said Shawn Porter was a slick fighter, had really good skills, make you miss things like that, slip punches, and she said now that she said Shawn Porter just going there with a lot of anger and a lot of just a lot of brute strength and just try to muscle people. And to me, that describes Shawn Porter. He try to muscle people. He try to muscle you. He tries to, what I'm saying, beat you with his physicality a lot of times. Now, Danny Garcia did stand his ground. I believe Danny Garcia maybe was on the ropes maybe a couple times in the fight. Danny Garcia largely kept the fight, what I'm saying, off the ropes. So, that was good for Danny Garcia in doing that, but I think she made a good point, man. And I don't know why Shawn Porter fight differently than he fight in the amateurs because Shawn Porter beat a lot of guys in the amateurs. He beat Alexander Usyk in the amateurs. I didn't know that until 2 weeks ago. Till his father brought that out. He beat Danny Jacobs. He beat a lot of guys, man. Demetrius Andrade. He beat a lot of guys in the amateurs. So I don't know, man. I don't know why his style changed. I can't tell you. Let me read some of these comments. I think more people you should try fighting at a more natural weight instead of draining themselves to make weight. Instead, they should focus on getting as strong as possible at their weight. It's just seems like it will be easier to relax in the time before fights while other guys are killing themselves to make weight. Plus, it takes the brain multiple days to recover. Yeah. See, what it is this. The reason why guys drain themselves down is because they want to have an advantage in a lower weight class, and they want to pad their record in a lower weight class. See, that's the old secret in boxing. Boxing is about advantages. It's about how much longer are my arms than yours? How tall am I? How much faster am I hand speed wise? Are my feet faster than yours? Do you have flat feet? So boxing has always been about you know what I'm saying, advantages. And the biggest advantage is if a guy is a big guy, let's say he walk around about 160. If he can shrink himself down and make 147, he can have an advantage. And he's good. Like if you have the skills and you can shrink yourself down and fight smaller guys, you can. So now you're gonna have the skill advantage and the most likely the power advantage in a lot of situations. So they pad their records up. That's why when guys first come out and they first 20 25 fights, and you will see them fight at a weight class, and then all of a sudden you will see them jump, and then you will see them fight at that weight class that they jump to maybe 2 fights, and then you will see them jump again. The reason why they jumping like that is because the weight that they settle at is the weight that they should have been at in the beginning. It was just the fact that they were young, and you can get your if you can shrink your body down when you're young. Your metabolism is high. You can get your body down. It's like when you get about 30 years old, your metabolism. A lot of people metabolism slow down. So now that's when guys say, "I can't wait. I can't make the weight no more." And they're right. They're correct. They can't make the weight no more because now the metabolism in your body is not allowing you to drop the weight, the few extra pounds that you used to be able to drop when you were young, when you were in your 20s, in your teens or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's why guys do it. That's the old secret in boxing. That's why guys shrink down. You know what I'm saying? I was in the gym, and the guy, I know he walk around at 230. This man was fighting at 168. He was walking around at 230, fighting at 168. So I know how people do it. I know why people do it and the advantages they want to have in the ring. It's all about advantages. That's what boxing is about, man. And that's the dirty little secret. You know what I'm saying? Realistically, I'm gonna tell you right now, the guys that they shouldn't be at 147, they should be at 154 or 160. See, 154 is a fairly new division. You know what I'm saying? 154 is not one of the 8 original divisions. If you fought at one, if you fought at 135, if there was back in the day there was no 140, it was 135, 147. It was no 154. You went to 160. So if you was a guy that fought at 135, if you wanted a welterweight championship, you couldn't go to 140 to settle in at 140, then jump to 147. No, you had to jump over. You had to jump 12 something pounds and go up and fight at 147, and then from 147 to 160. See, that's when guys was really testing themselves. That's what you call a test. When you go from 147 to 160, when you go from 135 to 147, that's the true test. Not sitting at 140, you know what I'm saying, getting your body more developed, then going to 147. You know what I'm saying? So guys that shouldn't be at 147, they probably should be at 160. Keith Thurman, Earl Spence, and Shawn Porter. Those 3 guys should be at 160. Back in the day, those guys probably would have been at 160. Like really. Like I mean they can make 147 because they can shrink their bodies down. They have good nutrition. Shawn Porter is a fighter that stays in shape all year round. Earl Spence, like he stays in shape all year round. Keith Thurman is the only one that blows up in between fights. Like I'm surprised Keith Thurman can still make. Keith Thurman is my guy. I believe he's the best welterweight, still #1 rated welterweight. But Keith Thurman, the way he blew up in weight, I don't see how he keep on making 147. See, that's why Keith Thurman is having these injuries too, because he doesn't keep himself in sufficient weight in between fights. Keith Thurman, I swear to God, I'm gonna tell you right now, Keith Thurman look like he walk around about 190, every bit of 190, 185, 190, easy. Look at his neck and look at his face, man. Look at his neck and his face. Gervonta Davis is another one. He's walking around. I swear to God, he looked every bit of 170, 175 that night of the Danny Garcia Shawn Porter fight. He was pudgy, like real pudgy. So then you know what I'm saying. You wonder why you losing your belt on the scales because you're not training. If your only thing is to be a fighter, it should be a little bit more easier for you to stay in shape than a normal person. You shouldn't be walking around out of shape like the normal human being walks around because you're a fighter. You should have some level of discipline. See, you can say what you, like I said, countless times I say this. You can say what you want to say about Floyd Mayweather. That man always stayed ready. He always stayed ready because he understood that you cannot blow up in weight and then use your training camp as a weight losing training camp, a weight losing camp. Your training camp, you're supposed to be working on the game plan versus your opponent, and you're supposed to be working on your skills, getting sharp, getting your timing down. You shouldn't be working on, I got to lose a lot of weight, so I got to kill my body every day in training camp. Because all you're doing is taxing your body more. As you get losing that weight, you got to tax your body more because you got to work harder. You got to work harder than the guy that's already come in camp 10 pounds. You should not walk around no more than, like I said, 10 pounds over your fighting weight. That's it. You should not walk around no more than 10 pounds over your fighting weight. Let me say this again. Don't walk around no more than 10 pounds over your fighting weight. Because guess what? Those 10 pounds will come off a whole lot easier than 20, 30 pounds. Because if you're in an 8-week training camp or even a 6-week training camp, that 10 pounds will come off naturally and you're going to be strong. But does that bigger guy really have the advantage? The bigger now it can be a disadvantage for the bigger guy if he don't get the weight off properly. But if that bigger guy gets off the weight properly and rehydrate properly, yes, it's a huge advantage for the big man. If they know what they're doing. And at the highest levels, if they're smart, they have a nutritionist, they have a workout regimen to get that weight down gradually and also stay strong. You know what I'm saying? So the last week of you know what I'm saying, the training camp, they maybe have like 2 to 3 pounds more to lose, and then you can lose that 2 to 3 pounds in a sparring session or jumping rope or stuff like that. So if the bigger guy can lose the weight properly, he's gonna come in with a huge advantage. Huge, huge. Hey, I'll be back, y'all. I'm back, man. Sorry about that. Kids up there getting out of hand. But yeah. Who y'all got on the Triple G Canelo fight? I know a lot of people saying there's some people saying that they banning they not gonna watch the fight. I'm watching the fight, man. I'm not. That's a good matchup. I'm watching the fight. You know, I can't. I'm not down with that banning fights and boycotting fights and all that stuff, man. It's a good fight. It's a significant fight in the welterweight division. I mean, in the middleweight division. Canelo by unanimous decision. Okay, okay. I got Triple G. I got Triple G winning the fight. I think Triple G is going to come in and take care of business, man. This fight, man. Who else got Canelo or Triple G? They got Lemieux fighting Sullivan on that card, and they going back and forth, you know, with words. And Lemieux said the last guy that talked slick to him, he put him in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? So um, I don't know about I don't know about that fight, but it should be pretty good because Sullivan is a guy that comes forward. So I don't. It may be a good fight, man. You know, Sullivan like to come forward. We all know that Lemieux likes to come forward. Lemieux is a he is a power puncher, but oddly enough, his last couple of fights, his last 5 or 6 fights, Lemieux only got about what? He only got one knockout. That's when he knocked out Curtis Stevens. That's the one he talking about he put in the hospital. You know, Lemieux started off his career with like 20 knockouts, man. You know what I'm saying? And then he lost that fight. He lost a couple fights. You know what I'm saying? Got back on track. Then he lost to oh no, he did KO Glenn Tapia, but who wasn't KO Glenn Tapia in them days? So yes, after he lost to Golovkin by stoppage, you know what I'm saying, he got back on track, knocked out Tapia. He did knock out Curtis Stevenson. That was a vicious, brutal knockout. Now Curtis Stevenson did say that Lemieux had hydrated up to what 15 pounds over him or something like that. He said it was a big difference in the hydration or something. It was something that went on, you know, with that. But that was a brutal knockout, and man, Curtis Stevenson, he has to reevaluate his career after that, man. Because he was down for a long time, and they took him out on a stretcher. So that was brutal. But yeah, that fight's supposed to be on there. So we'll see what Lemieux going. But the Canelo Triple G fight, the reason why I'm watching it, man, it's a significant fight at the welterweight. I mean, at the I'll keep on saying welterweight. I got that on my mind. But it's a significant fight at the middleweight division. Very significant in the sense that you have you have the the you have what's the name coming up, and he want to get that fight too. You have you have uh why do I forget his name every time, man? The Charlo brothers. Well, Jamal. I think Jamal is the one at 160, right? Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's Jamal. Yeah, he wants the winner, and I think he's Golovkin mandatory, if I'm not mistaken. He's Golovkin mandatory. So if Golovkin win the fight, I want to see Golovkin versus the Charlo brother, man. That's what I want to see because the Charlo brother deserve his shot, man. It's about time to get them Charlo brothers. You know what I'm saying? Well, the other one, I want to see him fight. Jared Hurd, but yeah, it's time to get them their shot his shot at 160. I would like to see a young Golovkin go up against a young Lion. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna still give Golovkin the advantage if he beat Canelo and he fight that Charlo brother. I'm gonna give Golovkin the advantage in that fight, but the Charlo brother can get down, man. He can win that fight also. So who else? Who else? You know what I'm saying? Got Canelo or Triple G? Because let me see something, man. Let me see something. Let me see something real quick. Let me see something real quick. I think Canelo has a small advantage because of age, but if Canelo can counter Triple G all night, he wins on points. If Triple G steps up the pressure and tests Canelo stamina, then Triple G might get the. Yeah, that's why I say if Triple G goes to the body more, that's Triple G. He that's one of his weapons, but he can go to the. Well, I know Canelo was moving, but it was a lot of times Canelo was right there. He could have went to Canelo body. He didn't do it enough. He did it somewhat sometimes, but he didn't do it enough. He didn't do it nearly enough. Not even nearly enough. Than he used to do it. Oh, Danny Jacobs is out there. I mean, the Danny Jacobs Triple G rematch. I'm not really clamoring for that. I thought Triple G won the fight, man. A lot of people saying that Danny Jacobs won that fight. Just show me where he won the fight, man. Danny Jacobs looked very nervous. He didn't really engage that much. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he did a good job. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't look like a person that wanted to go out there and get the fight. He didn't go out there and get the fight. Triple G was coming forward most of the fight, landing the more significant punches and all that stuff, man. You got Triple G wasn't aggressive in the early rounds. That really hurt him last fight. Oh, you talking about the Danny Jacobs fight? Triple G. Oh, you talking about the Canelo fight? He wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, the first 3 rounds he wasn't that aggressive. Yeah, you're right. The first 3 rounds, but he turned it up. He started turning it up around about fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. He started turning it up. But you got Billy Joe Saunders. They now Billy Joe Saunders fighting Demetrius Andrade, which is good. That gonna help solidify some of that 160-pound division. You know what I'm saying? The winner of that fight, they can fight Danny Jacobs because Danny Jacobs is with Eddie Hearn too. All three of them with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn got 3 middleweights. He got number 2, Jacobs at number 2. He got Billy Saunders at number 3, and he got Demetrius Andrade at number 7. So Eddie Hearn got some middleweights. They got David Lemieux up in here. David Lemieux still hanging around. Adam still work. I don't know when Adam's still hanging around for. He been in some rough, tough fights, man. They got the Japanese dude. He lost one time, but he's in there. So yeah, the better fights to me. I think the winner of Danny Jacobs and Saunders should fight Danny Jacobs, and the winner of Canelo and Triple G should fight should fight Danny. I mean, should fight. I'm gonna get his right. I'm gonna get his name. Jermell Charlo should fight Jermell Charlo. To then after that, man, we can get you know what I'm saying, another good middleweight title fight after that. So man, I'm hoping that we can within the next what year. Within the next year, we can probably get an undisputed middleweight champion. Because Golovkin was close, but they robbed that man. They robbed that man of that Canelo fight, man. He won that Canelo fight. He outlanded Canelo and he out threw Canelo. He threw the most punches and he outlanded Canelo. How can Canelo win that fight? I don't. Canelo is a good fighter, man. I respect Canelo, but he did cheat. I'm gonna tell you that man cheated. But um he has some questionable scorecards, man. That Laura fight, questionable. I picked Canelo to beat Laura, but Laura won that fight, man. That draw that he had on one of them scorecards with Mayweather, that was iffy. But yeah, David Lemieux and Gary O'Sullivan, yeah, that's a significant fight because that's number 10 and number 8 fighting each other. So the middleweight division is getting some work, man. The middleweight division is getting some work. So yeah, this is I'm watching the fight, man. Canelo and Triple G are most likely leaving HBO after this fight too. Are you got word that they leaving too? I mean, I don't know what network they going you think they going to? Think they going to ESPN? I heard ESPN throwing out a lot of money, man. I believe De La Hoya is going to go to ESPN because I hear ESPN is throwing out a lot of money, man. ESPN is throwing out a lot of money to land these fighters. You know what I'm saying? So they may be headed there. What y'all think Danny Garcia gonna do next? I don't know what's next for Danny Garcia. His father talking about Angel Garcia talking about retiring as Danny trainer because he said Danny not listening to him anymore. Man in the corner, he told Danny Garcia, he said, "Go in there and land this punch. I'm gonna land this punch on you." You know what I'm saying? That can get a little bit too too out there, man. You know what I'm saying? Like they are father and son. The only thing about that father and son tandem is it can get a little bit iffy when things go, you know what I'm saying, go a different way, man. So we have to see what happens with that. But he said that Danny is not listening to him anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's a big statement, man. Danny not listening to him. He don't think Danny is listening to him anymore. It's time for a new trainer when your fighter not listening. When it comes to a point where your fighter's not listening to you, it's time to make that change. What y'all think? But I don't know. Danny biggest problem is not the trainer. It's that Danny don't throw enough punches. You know what I'm saying? I thought the fight was on the table in round 10, 11, and 12, and Danny just didn't go get it. He just didn't go get it, man. And that's the crux of it. That's it. That's all of it in a nutshell. He didn't go get it, man. You got to go get it. You have to go. You have to go in there and get it. If you want it, you got to go get it. His father was telling him, man, go win the championship of the world, man. His father was frustrated because he was not going to get it. He was not pushing forward to go get it. And father was frustrated, man. You have to go get it if you want to win, man. I thought the fight was on the table. I thought Danny was gonna bite down on his. It's at some point you got to bite down on your gum shield, man, and you got to go get it. Sometimes you just got to bite down and go get it. And when it was time to go get it, Shawn Porter wanted it more. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it is a strategic fight, but then sometimes it just comes down to who wanted more. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it just comes down to who wanted more. Danny didn't seem like he wanted as much. I haven't seen that fight yet. I'll probably watch it on YouTube sometime. Yeah. Watch the fight. It was a good fight. It was a good fight. You know what I'm saying? I'm not down in Danny. He fought a real good fight. He just you got to get a when you at that level. When you at that level, get a more out. You got to get more out of yourself. You got to pull. Look, you got to pour it out, man. I know you're tired. It's the later rounds. You're getting. You know what I'm saying. Your conditioning is draining, but you got to go get it, man. You got to go get it. There's no turning back, man. You fight for the WBC championship of the world. You could be tired tomorrow. Right now, you got to empty the tank. You you got to empty the tank so much that you can barely stand up after the fight. You got to empty the tank. A lot of these fighters are scared to empty. You got to empty that tank, man. Show the judges that you want it. Sean Porter showed the judges that he wanted it, and Sean Porter said he fought a certain way so the judges can score the fight, can see what he's doing. He said that's why he fought with a lot. That's why he was paying attention to his distance. And I said if Sean Porter uh, work on his distance, on how to get in on the fighter, his angles, he can be difficult. He can be difficult for anybody in the fight because he's already physical. So he already gonna take a physical toll out of you. It's just that a lot of times he smothers his work. But yeah, yeah, man, go look at that fight. That was a good fight, man. That was a good fight. But man, I'm gonna probably get up out of here. Anything y'all wanna talk about, man, that I didn't elaborate on before I get up out of here? I wanted to try to pull up that video with Eddie Hearn when he said that Demetrius Andrade he got Demetrius Andrade, and Demetrius Andrade is gonna win. It's gonna be the next middleweight champion of the world. But Danny was fighting like he was already the champion. Like, no man, no man, this is a vacant. Yeah, yeah, it's a vacant title. Nobody came in as a champion. This was a vacant title, man. This is a vacant title. Like if you was a champion, you probably would get because the champion do get the benefit of some rounds, some close rounds. The champion do get that's a thing in boxing. Champions do get benefits in some of the close rounds. But this is a vacant title. That means you don't get no closer round than I get. You know what I'm saying? So if it's a round close and if I want it, I'm gonna win it. If you want it, they're gonna give it to you. I don't know what Danny go for me. I wouldn't expect to see Danny in the ring for another year. I think Danny gonna take another year off. It's just what Danny does, man. He lose, he take a year off. You know what I'm saying? He lost to Keith Thurman. He took what 12 months off. He took, I mean, not 12 months. He took like about almost a year and a half off when he lost to Keith Thurman. So I know Angel Garcia said that it's politics in the boxing. That's the reason why his son lost. But I'm gonna say this about Angel Garcia. See, Angel has to understand that he's Danny's trainer. So whatever he says is gonna be magnified and is gonna be pushed up on Danny. If he was Danny's promoter, you know what I'm saying, and just Danny's promoter and not Danny's trainer, I think Angel Garcia would have got a more of a longer leash. But when he said what he said in the Thurman press conference, when he called Thurman the N word, you know what I'm saying, it turned. It didn't turn me off because I wasn't offended by it. It turned a lot. It turned the PBC off. It turned Al Heyman them off. Al Heyman them. They don't want that. See, that's the same thing they was getting on Oscar for when Oscar had those emails calling Al Heyman the Black Hitler and all that stuff. See, so that they don't want that on their platform. So that's why Angel Garcia was banned from a lot of media interviews. And I think Angel Garcia is still bitter from that, and he blames that on the Keith Thurman loss, which no, that has nothing to do with the Keith Thurman loss. Keith Thurman beat your son to me. Now Keith Thurman did take some rounds off in the later rounds. Like Keith Thurman had already had the fight sold up. No, I wish Keith Thurman would have went out there and tried to knock the man out and finish him. But Keith Thurman won that fight 8-4, man. 8-4, 9-3 at the latest. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what Angel Garcia is talking about. Politics is the reason why he lost to Keith Thurman. Now he's saying politics is the reason why he lost to Sean Porter. No, go look at them last 3-4 rounds. That's why your son lost to Sean Porter. That's why. Go look at the first 6-7 rounds with Keith Thurman. That's why your son lost to Keith Thurman. No, it has nothing to do with politics. It has everything to do with Danny Garcia's performance. Because no matter what you say about politics, the fighter has the say so in the outcome of the boxing match. If he goes out there, balls to the wall, smart fight, technical fight in some aspects, know how to make an adjustment, know how to fight when it's time to fight, when it's time to bite down on your mouthpiece and give it all you got. If he goes in there and give it all he got and fight like he's supposed to, the fight is in his hands. You know what I'm saying? If you don't, it's ways that a fighter can win the fight. He can either get a TKO or he can get a knockout. He can either beat the fighter up so much that he don't come out for his corner, that he retire in his corner, or he can beat him up so bad that the referee had to stop the fight, or he can knock him out. If you don't do those three and the fight goes to those judges, guess what those judges are there to do? Judge you. They're there to judge what you did in the ring. Now, what you think you did in the ring and what the judges seeing you do in the ring may be two different things. So you can't get mad at the judges when the fight doesn't come out your way. You already had. They have judges right there. So when fights don't get finished, the judges come in and put the final mark on the fight. So if you don't finish the fight, the judges will come in there and give a score. It's just plain and simple. That's just how it goes. And you can get mad, you can moan, you can cry about politics, this, politics, that, but you had a chance to knock the man out, beat the man up so bad the referee steps in, or beat him up so bad that the corner throws in the towel, or he don't get up off his stool. That's it. And that's what it is, man. It is what it is. So, like I said, man, Danny Garcia, he didn't do enough, man. And I know he's gonna look at now. He said he looked at the fight and he said that he won the fight. Yeah, he did say that. He did say he watched the fight and he said he came back and he won the fight. You know, hey, it is what it is. I mean, the man has. I guess he has a right to his. I mean, he does have a right to his own opinion. So if he think he won the fight, hey, if it's gonna make him feel better, but on Box Rec in black and white it says you lost the fight. So you can never change it. I believe Danny Garcia should just get back in the ring as soon as possible. Because you sit around and soak. He already said he was depressed when he lost against Keith Thurman. So how do you think he feels now that he lost to Shawn Porter, which he thought that he was going to beat Shawn Porter? The plan was to beat Shawn Porter. The plan was that. Now I picked Danny Garcia to beat Shawn Porter. I picked Danny Garcia to beat Shawn Porter, but he didn't win the fight. I can't. Even if the fight was close enough, I can make a case that Danny Garcia won the fight. That would be disingenuous if I made a case that Danny Garcia won that fight. Danny Garcia lost that fight, man. He lost it. I thought the fight was on. I thought the fight was one round, maybe one round to Shawn Porter by the ninth round. So the fight was on the table. The fight is there for you to win, Danny. They don't call them the championship rounds for nothing. It's the championship round. It's time to go. It's time to win the championship. And when it was time to win the championship, you didn't show up. It is what it is. Hey y'all, I'm gonna get up out of here, man. 7:34, man. I've been on here close to an hour, but yeah, I'm gonna watch the Canelo Triple G fight. It looked like a pretty good card. They got some middleweights on there fighting, so they got a little mini middleweight tournament going on. So I'm gonna watch it, man. I got Triple G. You know what I'm saying? Possibly stopping Canelo in the later rounds, but we'll see though. Canelo is a formidable opponent. Canelo is tough, so he's not gonna roll over. He's not gonna lay down. So we'll see. Hey, I'm out, y'all. Hey, thanks for joining me. Hey, I'm gonna start having people come on here and we can discuss some things. You know what I'm saying? Have somebody be my right hand man every now and then, and just discuss boxing. But I'm out, y'all.